Want a piece of paper? You're not going to take any notes?
It's all up here.
From Erie Zone Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
Well, we don't have to have the wide-angle lens on today.
No.
So, this is Councilman Kazakotowski and
Ron Stemka,
we are waiting for the appearance of...
the skunk.
Is that who he's going to be today?
I don't know.
I don't know. DJ said he was going to be here, but...
Okay, let's talk about the
Let's
transitory.
go over the rules first.
Okay, go on.
Anything you can talk about anything you want.
Anything you want. Anything.
Just keep it in the bounds of good taste and not get personal. So go ahead. What do you got?
Okay, how about the transitory? What's going on with that?
Well,
I hear is this story.
Well,
okay.
what story did you hear that you don't?
Okay, now the transitory, the city has to pay the bulk of the transitory.
We always paid the bulk.
Well, I always thought that the county paid more.
No, that was a misnomer, okay?
Okay, how much are we paying now?
The misnomer was that the figures tossed around were after all the contributions
Right.
of various communities, which wasn't much.
I know that.
Okay, it was like 20,000 by Mill Creek, 1,600 by Summit. Ain't that an embarrassment? I could write a check for 1,600. Would I want to? No, but okay. After all that, the county paid 330,000,
330 per day.
and we paid 270,000.
Okay.
Now, to the average citizen, which one is more?
Oh, of course.
Which one?
The county pays more.
No, not true. See, because as an accountant, you look at things different in the world. Okay, if you take that 330,000 and remembering that all city people, all city residents are county residents,
Well, they're all in the same pot.
but all
Every
county residents are not.
City.
So if you take the city portion of that 330,000, which comes out of city taxpayers, that is roughly, according to their figures, I think it's a little higher, but they say roughly 24%.
Okay.
So you divide 330 by 4 roughly, you're around 80,000, a little over, right? So you take 80,000 out of 330,
Right.
okay? So you take 80 out of 330, we'll do it real quick here. That's 250,000.
Right.
So you take our 270, okay,
Right.
and what do you do with the 80,000? You put that on our side of the ledger,
Right.
and all of a sudden, we're given more.
Well, didn't they say the city's going to have to pay?
Well, what they're saying now is, now because we had this negotiations, it's still going to be after various contributions by some colleges like Northeast and all that.
You never had colleges before in the mix, did you?
Yes, we did. Northeast, Mercyhurst Northeast
Right.
used to give some money. The city of Corey gave some money. The Edinburgh University of PA gave some money, amongst a few others, but that's because they're outside of what they call the designated service area. Okay? The service area is covered by federal and state funding. Outside that area, it's pretty much up to the bus company or the communities to make up the money, okay? So what they're saying is, after all contributions and everything, the city has agreed to pay 55% and the county 45%.
Okay, now it comes out to how much? Somebody said to me $1 million, $1,000,001 or something like that?
No, I mean, Ron, it's only right now, okay? Presently, it's only our contribution is only 270. To go to $1 million, that's a big.
I know, that's what I'm asking. $1 million is way out there.
They're not only projecting into the future, but they're assuming that there'll be no other contributions.
Right. So the city stands to pay a bigger amount of it.
Well, when you look at it, the fact that was our argument. The reason why we wanted ownership to some degree, not ownership.
What was the reason why they fought so much between the two of them?
Well, I can tell you my reason. I can't tell you anybody else's.
Well, I was thinking, this is what I'm thinking now. And I talked to a few people up in the chain, better than I. Okay, what about if the city went to the school district and said, hey, would you like us to take over your bus routes?
Who said that?
Someone was throwing that, kicking it around. Now, if they got all the school bus routes, how many buses would that be?
I don't know how many they run in a special day, but the school district pays for some of that tab through federal funding and other.
Right.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah. Why don't you answer Ron Stepka's question? How much is the city going to pay now, and how much is the county going to pay now?
I just told you, after all the contributions which haven't been factored in yet, we will pay 55% of the remaining bill.
Dollars. When you're talking, we paid $270, and the county paid $350 or whatever. You were talking dollars. Why aren't you talking dollars now?
Because it's going to be just slightly higher, and I will, when those numbers are finalized, and I will not sit here and quote numbers that cannot be substantiated, I will tell you the exact number. Right now, it'll be, when Ron quotes $1 million, they're projecting that. I seen how the paper wrote it. They're talking about the cost over a 4 or 5 year period. Well, we're still paid $270,000 every year for the last couple years. It'll raise slightly, but I can guarantee you there's no way this councilman or the councilman I know are going to put up with a price tag of $1 million for 1 year. But if you want to pin me down, you're not going to, because I will not give you a number until I see.
Oh, my God.
Wait a minute, Ron. I could sit out here and throw.
There was a number like at least $50,000 more, an estimated number for this coming year. Is that true?
That's possible, but like I say, we have not. They just recently, the EMTA is going to start receiving funds from the government, and their board, not the city. Their board will have to determine the cost of running the buses. And I will tell you that, it'll be their decision, and they will start going after various,
Oh, my God.
The hope is that, various communities will all contribute.
Oh, we got something.
But presently, we will be paying 55, and they will be paying 45.
So the city has to come up with this, Mike. Right?
We always did.
Okay, but how much do we have in our budget right now? City budget.
We already funded last year, which was $270,000.
Well, I'm talking
Going
about
forward,
today's budget. Today's budget.
No, today's budget is today. I just told you today's budget is as of December 31st. Okay, $270,000 was expended for the bus company.
Well, I'm just talking about the overall budget for the year. How much do they forecast to have in the budget by the end of the year?
I mean, a surplus?
A surplus.
There will be a surplus, but to be fair, I would have to ask. We'll have another update coming up next month, or this month.
And this month.
And I will be able to give you an exact figure, what they're projecting.
Like they said, well, it's nothing. We can afford it. We can afford it.
Next year, they will be put in. Yes, it will.
Okay, we just need numbers. We could talk all day long. You can say, if you can surmise on all of the stuff you got there, but you don't know.
Well,
you get figures.
You and this gentleman want an exact number. I can't give you one, okay? I can tell you that it's going to be dependent upon how much is derived from other communities, from the county, from federal and state funding. And, to throw out numbers out there like willy-nilly, like they do sometimes in the newspaper, is irresponsible. Okay? First of all, it puts fear into people that may or may not be there. There's no way that I am going to vote for expending $1 million a year. I'll tell you that right now, okay?
That's what I'm just kicking around. I'm out in the public all the time.
Is it going to go up a little bit? It possibly will, okay? But what is it? Are we under hazmat warning?
Hey, we got some. There ain't a bomb on us. Look at this guy.
This is hard to believe. We're under hazmat warning. Either that or that's what's that, Clack 2 from,
It must be raining outside.
that could be Clack 2 or what's his name from that space show?
I don't know.
The Day the Earth Stood Still? Clack 2 Marimba Nuktu. Clack 2 Marimba Nuktu. Look at that, see?
I was waiting for a skunk to walk in the door.
I have thought I'd seen everything, but
Even got sunglasses on.
what was the question you asked me? You remember I was going to answer you and the phone rang?
You remember offhand?
Do you remember it? It was something about the buses. You were asking me specifically.
I forgot now.
Think about it.
That was a week ago.
No. The phone just rang and we were talking.
That's
Oh, you asked me about, no, I remember, it was, oh, you asked me what the reasons were, okay? You know, what held it up. I can only tell you my concerns, okay? 80% of the people that take the buses come out of the city. Of that percentage, I would, when I questioned Mike Tan, I was pretty close to assuming, and it was pretty close to being right, that the majority of those come probably from the lower east side, lower west side, the areas where you have people that do not have access to vehicles as much.
And there's no downtown stores or anything to help these people out.
No, plus
And
you
I
have
heard of a store coming in.
plus you have the like you brought up the school kids, okay, and the transportation is funded through the Commonwealth. Now they can either, in the past we had our own buses in the school district, but now they find it cheaper to either use EMTA or First Student or one of those. It takes away the cost to maintain the fleet. So all that was, in my reasoning, I could not see turning over control to the county. Because if you had a problem and you came to me, I had no voice in it.
Right, it'd be up to them.
Yeah, I would have no voice in a problem that concerns my city, my voters, my taxpayers.
You can continue putting in the additions that they're talking about
What's that?
all the way to French Street?
Oh yeah, you mean what front? What are you talking about?
From Parade Street all the way to French. They're going to put all the new buildings along.
Oh, you're talking about the EMTA.
Yeah.
Well, that was held up, but now, to our understanding, those funds will be released. That's what we were told. So the project will go on. It's all, federally.
That's me.
That's all. That's yours. That's all federally and state funded from, and why you don't like that project?
No, that's spending too much money down there. The city can do other things with that money.
I have a
Clack 2.
question.
What?
Where's your Halloween costume, Kaz? I see this guy's got one on, but where's yours?
What, costume?
Yeah, it's Halloween, man.
Do you not recognize me?
we were trying to.
You know it's me, right?
You look like Clack 2. What was that guy in the Day the Earth Stood Still? That robot?
Keep that up. Someone's going to be laying on the floor with their heads up.
You love me, Ron.
You're my buddy.
Look, I haven't worn gloves like that until I messed with crylic acid when I was a young man.
Yeah, I was just doing that.
Crylic?
Yeah, and then I wiped it all over my face.
Well, I used to feel bubble around my hands. It was like,
You okay, Ron? Are you upset?
I'm getting there.
Over.
Take any more-
I called up a court check, saw 1,400, and I talked to that idiot that's on there now. All I can say is an idiot.
you missed Jimmy, huh?
Oh, I missed him a lot. I went to the funeral home. I talked to his wife.
I found out when I was out of town, it was like, you know what's crazy? I heard his last show. As I was heading out, and we were just outside of Meadville. You start,
It fades out.
yeah. Well, they were getting, and I remember he was joking about that day, the day before, they were trying to tweak the signal. And people were calling in, and all of a sudden it was starting to get a little clearer where I was. But then, after a while, it just, it's going to die one way or the other. That was it. It was the last time I heard him.
He was at the studio, he was right on station. Well, January last year, February, he was in Cleveland Clinic for open heart, I think it was. He had a bad heart to begin with. Then he got on the show, and they tried to get him going. And
it just goes to show you that, enjoy today, because you never know.
I told my wife yesterday, I said, all that money we got sitting, we could go any place on this planet. So I'm thinking of going to Costa Rica for a couple of weeks by myself. I come off the plane, I'm 18 years old then.
You can't go unless you know what that means.
What?
Costa Rica.
What do you mean?
Rich coast.
Sure are, man. My buddy, Frank, a friend of mine, Frank lived there 5 years. He said, you live like a king there.
So,
You going back?
does Clactu have any questions today?
I have no questions today, except you said you'd wear a costume, man.
No, I
I'm
didn't.
so alone.
I was going to put my soccer jersey on and go as Harry Kane.
That's okay. I got enough costume for all three of us.
Are you coming?
Who wants the
Hey,
gloves and who wants the
if
helmet?
you're going to Ron's house tonight, he's giving like 6-ounce candy bars out.
Here you go. I'll let you hit me with them.
We get him by the bus license. This year, I might give him.
What are you going to give DJ if he turns up?
I won't be there.
I want candy.
Hey, I forgot. What time is trick-or-treating tonight?
6.
Oh, that's right, 6 o'clock.
Granddaughter ain't gonna be there. So.
Huh?
You missed the cat meeting Saturday. We had our annual meeting Saturday, man.
Where was I?
What kind of cab was that?
We have an annual member meeting for the members at Cat TV.
Oh, God.
Channel 2.
I missed it.
Yeah. We missed you. It was a good meeting. There was food, prizes, more food.
I'm trying to think where I was.
Yeah, Jake texted me to call you, and I didn't get the message until after.
I'm getting meetinged out.
Yeah. Yeah, but this one's like more of a party for food and stuff. So
I have so many meetings, I can't keep track of them all.
we get you next
Start
year.
your show.
What?
Start your show.
I'm losing weight. I can prove it to you. Unlike a certain candidate, you can look at my medical records.
Who's candidate that?
I won't say.
Okay, now compare to that idiot on Channel 1400. That guy, I talked to the governor.
Hey, don't call him that. Now, he's got his opinion.
Yeah, but it's on his opinion, that's it.
What?
So I talked to the senators, I talked to the Congress.
Yeah.
And then I ask a question, and he cuts me off.
They don't want to answer the question.
No, I'm just asking normal questions. And this guy's just like,
Sometimes-
it's his way or no way.
Ron,
His way.
sometimes the hardest questions are the easiest ones.
I'm waiting for them to fire him.
People tell me, all the time about elected officials, right? But here we are. Have we ever refused a question?
No.
No?
So, what's going on? What's going on with downtown? Now
In which way?
now they put in that hotel. Did Scott get the money? $5 or $6 million?
Well, you never quite know. I mean, I haven't talked to Nick in a long time,
I'll probably talk to him.
and there were many facets to that project.
Well, a lot of them.
I mean, he just got, I believe, from what I read, $5 million.
That's a drop.
And I haven't really looked into it, but I do know that a key component of that was the NIS or the CRIS, whatever they determine they want to call it, would,
Grizz money, you mean?
or NIS. They changed the acronym of it. The theory is still the same. The state basically tells a developer that they will waive all state taxes
Right.
within the zone.
How many years?
And those depends on how, well,
7, 10?
you can't look at what they did in the past, because the one they gave in Allentown was too lucrative. There was another one given to Bethlehem and Lancaster, okay? And right now it's dead again, so it would be premature to say, how long it is.
But who screwed up on that part? Someone
Pardon?
put it in and they put
Well-
something in the wrong place that they were supposed to get the money.
Yeah, well, you were supposed to
It was wrote
form,
up wrong.
you're supposed to form an authority,
Right.
and they tried to use an existing one, which the state didn't accept. Most communities, like Allentown, would set up some kind of development authority that would administer the funds. The project, like in the case of Allentown, that went on like a good 3 or 4 years. And if you go to Allentown, what they basically did was they carved out a huge section of the downtown in the center. And they built a new arena, a hotel, convention center, various private developments, restaurants, office buildings. It really did a job. And when you go to Lancaster now, you can see they got certain high-rise buildings going up. So,
It's like a magnet to all these different.
well, what you're doing is you're telling the people that build here, you're saying, such as Nick, you're saying that for a period, whatever they determine, could be 3, 4, 5 years, whatever, and I believe you can couple other programs with that, but you're saying that for that period of time, the state says the money that they would normally collect is thrown back into the project.
Right.
Okay? So they're saying, in effect, keep the sales tax, and you can throw in all the fees, and you throw that into the project. That, along with like the $5 million grant, maybe some things that the city wants to throw in extra, that sometimes makes a difference. In the case of Allentown, and I'll use the term stole, because that's what they did. They stole a couple of businesses from the suburbs, some offices,
And they brought them into.
and they stole a high-end restaurant that was, we'll never see a restaurant like that in Erie. We just don't have enough people. But they stole that from the suburbs, brought it downtown. So, programs like that aren't bad because, if you remember, before we chastised Nick, or Mr. Scott, whatever you want to call him, when they wanted him to build a hotel, they wanted it on his dime. When he wouldn't do it because it couldn't make money for him, which a private businessman has to justify.
Well, he's got to justify everything he does.
Yeah, so what did they do? They built 2 hotels at taxpayers' money, okay? So before we, look at Nick and say, oh, he's waiting for, yes, he is waiting for money because, you know what? If he puts a hotel down there, now he's up against 2 other hotels. So he's got to find a niche, and he's got to make money at it because long after the NIS and the CRIS are gone, and long after the tax abatements are gone, just like Erie Insurance, right?
Now, what are they getting in lieu of taxes? What do they give the city, your insurance, in lieu of taxes?
They pay taxes.
How much are they paying?
Or, you know what, you'd have to talk to the treasurer. But except for,
Your city controller,
I don't, look, I saw the overall totals. The treasurer has the individual totals. That's her department. You could easily go down and ask, that you'd have to, you're dealing with 3 agencies, county, city, and
Right.
state. I mean, no, county, city, and school district. But Erie Insurance, after their abatements are done, their LERTAs and all that,
they're going to have straight up taxes.
they pay straight up, yes.
I thought Mr. Scott was putting a hotel down there for the hospital, like it was going to be closely tied with the hospital.
Yeah, you
People
gotta
would
put a
stay
bridge
there.
going across.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that still a thing, or is that not happening?
Well,
As soon as this CRIS money comes through,
I guess, his whole project is subject to, remember, it was a concept drawing. I think he'd like to do it, but if you read that paper, he's talking about, here's step 1, and where that hotel is in relation to the hospital, I don't know what step that is.
Yeah.
He hasn't come to council yet and asked for remember, anything built down there has to come before council.
Right.
So at that point, I'll be able to tell you what he's asking for. Up until that time, it's all a concept.
now with this new hotel, they came in front of you and asked for it. The new hotel they just put in.
Yeah.
They came to you and the parking ramp and everything, huh? The parking ramp was added.
You mean to get okay on that? Yes.
I thought that land wasn't supposed to be used for that.
What do you mean?
A hotel and a parking ramp. You took most of the property right there.
No, the land couldn't be used for housing.
Housing.
People can't live long.
You talking about the condemned portion?
Well, it's up farther, up by the...
Condemned portion is where the ramp is.
Yeah.
But no one says you couldn't build a hotel there. Part of the GAF project is a multi-use project. It's commercial, it's residential, and it's a commercial, residential, and office.
There could just be no long-term living because of this.
No, you could, on the other parts of the land, you could put residential. But on that one piece, they had a decision to make. They could not put permanent housing on that one piece of land, which is pretty much taken off now. Go ahead, caller.
Hi. A friend and I would like to know how to get a hold of DJ off air there.
Well, you can call me at area code 814-454.
What is that again, please?
814.
814.
454. 2226.
2226.
Yeah, that's if I said it incorrectly, it's the CAT TV phone number. For some reason, we're listed 5 times in the phone book, and none of the other TV stations are listed. So
okay, that's
just
454-22.
Lots of 2s and 4s.
Pardon?
Oh, it's 454.
Okay, that's much better.
2226.
I forgot I have to project to that microphone.
Okay,
give me a call after
Okay.
4 today.
Did I get it right? 2226, right?
Yeah, that's it. Like I said, lots of 2s and lots of 4s.
Okay, what's going on at the school board? You should know that. How many years you were at the school board?
I'm out of there now.
No, how many years were you there?
6.
You know,
Six as a director, many as a PTA person.
You know people that know people. You're an insider.
What do you want to know?
Well, all of a sudden we're broke now, the school district. We squander money. And how did...
You got to remember, 2 things happened since I left. Okay? 2 of the biggest things is, number one, prior to recently, school district could raise taxes at will. Okay? And they never had to answer to the courts, unlike the city or the county. Okay? When the city exceeded their assessed limit, and their millage limit rather, they had to go to court for permission. School districts didn't. That's why you've seen those new laws enacted, which I'm really not versed on because they weren't there when I was there, but it tells school districts how far they can raise taxes, when they have to go before the public or the courts. Second, and it started a little bit when I was on there.
Barker was there?
Huh?
When Barker was there?
Doesn't matter who was there. The state passed the Charter School Act. Okay? And I remember at the time when I left, we only had 1 applying. But there were rumors there were others, okay? The school district at that time, the school board, voted against establishing it. Because we were told, and it turned out to be right, that to fund these schools, it was going to come out of your budget. There would be a figure assessed that each student was worth, and that money would come out of your budget. So, I mean, you factor that in, and then you look at the other problems, Ron. You got a declining population base,
Yes.
a decline in assessed value of the city.
Yeah, but you have more pupils coming in now with the foreigners coming in.
Yeah, but what is that? But Ron,
It's increasing.
Ron, that makes your case, okay? If the housing is going down in value, that means the school district's going to get less money coming in,
Right.
okay? They got more kids coming in, many who probably live in public housing, or
Right now, like
or
Bell
even if
Valley.
they don't live in public housing, most of the immigrants coming in here probably cannot afford,
But they don't care because the government's going to pay the bill.
well, whatever the...
Like Bell Valley,
but,
for instance.
But Ron, you're answering your own question then,
The
okay?
Bell Valley, okay, for instance, I put my grandson in there. Okay?
Yeah.
It's $1,000 a month. And you go down there, and the whole one side is all foreigners. And they're getting it paid for nothing.
Ron, not all foreigners are,
The ones that are coming in, they are.
what? Not all of them, Ron. I know
90%.
many of them that are hardworking. We got him here at City Hall that work for cleaning agencies.
Well, I know that.
Okay, they're working their butts off. Okay, they're not.
Minimum wage.
Don't get general on statements, but look, the problem is very simple. we have a state that can't figure out how to fund public education.
Well, Erie's not getting enough share.
They're loaded with mandates, always have been, unfunded mandates. You got declining population in many of your large cities in PA. You got blighted situations. You got situations where assessed value is going down. And as you say, you're bringing in more people, some which do not have the ability to buy housing yet. Okay? So all these factors are churning on the system. Then you add in the pension debacle that Tom Ridge created.
That piece of garbage.
He created that, okay? And then you have, various other factors. I don't know what you do, okay?
There's nothing you can do.
I mean, you look at the city here. We've taken some hard, some tough steps. But at the end of the day, when you look out there, who are you going to tax?
And when you get taxed.
Yet things are going. You know yourself, okay? You look at your own home. Has anything really gone down?
No.
Is anything going to go down?
No.
So why would a city or a school district be any different? Now, is there things that they can do better or they should have done years ago?
Should have done it.
Possibly.
When Barker was in, he could have done a lot more.
It could have been a lot done. But you know what? It's amazing how we all live as Monday morning quarterbacks. When the city was 138,000 people, we thought the world would never end.
That was back in the 70s.
We were planning for a community of what? 160, 180,000 people. It was never going to end. Well, it did end. Now you've got communities out in the suburbs with the same idea. It's never going to end.
It's going to end.
It's going to end, yes.
City. I was at Union City at a funeral yesterday, and I'll tell you, they are really bad.
You know, the county as a whole has not gained population in a long time. Actually, maybe losing a little bit. So when you look at all those factors, okay,
The only way we're going to get ahead is to absorb Mill Creek.
but that won't even help.
Absorb us.
But that won't even, that won't even help, DJ.
Really?
No, because,
What did Finley used to call that?
huh?
What did Finley used to call that? Guy Finley?
Metropolitan government.
Yeah, metropolitan government. That's the only way we can.
It'll help in this vein that you'll have what you call all your services will be
Under one.
under one, so you'll have I'm trying to think of the word they use, it's not economization, but an economy of scale. That's a favorite economic term, meaning that if you share a fire department, if you share certain, it should cut. It's like school boards. You want to cut right away, but I'll tell you what will happen to you. You won't be a school director, you won't be a congressman, and you won't be in politics.
I'll tell you, you got to get.
Ready? Here's simple math. I don't know the exact number. I'm going to guess 13 school districts,
Okay.
Erie County. Okay? Each one has a superintendent.
Right.
I would be willing to say that they are either close or over 100,000 apiece. It was pretty when I left the board, they were pretty close to that. Now, when you ask about Jim Barker with all his benefits, almost $250,000. Okay.
And his wife too.
Well, let's just stay with superintendents right now.
Okay.
Okay. What if you were? Now, remember, each one of these districts are all doing things in their own little fashion. Every once in a while, we get together. We have a group called the COG, the Council of Governments. We buy salt. We buy tires, we buy paper together.
As a bulk.
Yeah, we try to do that, but not everything. Think if all 12 school districts in the county could sit down and get together, okay, and maybe instead of 12 superintendents, maybe have 3. Maybe, one big head honcho, a couple little guys, okay?
Yeah.
All right? Because remember, the guy that's getting big amount of money out in Northwestern is watching one high school, one junior high, maybe a couple grade schools, and then I know you like to pick on the Barker or Badams, but look what they got, okay? Number of employees. So what if you did that? But we all know that's not going to happen,
Well, you remember when you
and we all know the reason why, okay?
Now look at when we were kids. How many principals you have in one? Like say Columbus School, you had one principal
Mm-hmm.
and one assistant. That
Yes.
was it. How many do you have now? You got assistants after assistants?
Where?
Like, the school districts, they have a lot of people for assistants and stuff like that. I know a bunch of them.
Well, you still got basically one principal in every school. And depending on the size of school, you have 1 to 2 assistants,
Right.
depending on the size of it, okay?
How much do they get?
Well, they're up there. I mean, I don't know what the matrix scale is now, but I can tell you,
So there's a crap ton of places we could trim the fat. Why can't we trim the fat? Why can't we get it from 12 down to 3?
well, they have done it, but
It's all buddy plan.
you know, I used to joke, you know, it just, you know, even if you were to cut all the administrators,
Yeah.
you still got other problems.
I know, but I have a simple mind, and my mind thinks that if you cut
Oh,
away a whole bunch
there's
of...
no reason why you shouldn't start, no.
Yeah.
But just think if we didn't have all these school districts, you know,
Yeah.
and it goes the same for governments. Think in Pennsylvania, we have boroughs and townships and cities. When you go to Virginia, all they got is a city and a county. That's all they got. You're either one or the other. But here you got, you know, just duplication after duplication.
They can cut a lot of fat, like he just got done saying. There could
Sure
be a
they-
lot
I
of
mean-
fat, but it's too much of a buddy system in this.
But you look around the whole Commonwealth. I mean, I just got back from the League of Cities,
You did.
the Pennsylvania Municipal League, and I mean, you take any city you want. You can take Erie and Allentown. We're not going to count Pittsburgh and Philly. They're in their own problem area. You take Erie and Allentown, which are the bigger third-class cities, and then look down to Corey and St. Mary's or York or Gettysburg or any of those. And the problem is just the same. The only difference, it's either not as big or not as, just a different proportion. But the same problem. Same things we're talking about. Tax exempts, you know, loss of revenue, loss of assessed value, blighted properties, you know.
Well, one of the biggest problems we have, all these different these different authorities, they're going out to look for jobs. What, you got 5 or 6 of them, different authorities. What the hell do you know 5 or 6 of them? Put them all together, have one guy running the whole show.
What do you mean, different authorities?
You have different authorities to try and bring work into the area.
Oh, that way. But see,
5 or 6 authorities.
here's the thing now, that, while I'm concerned, those are their own agencies doing all this stuff, and that problem is, and I agree with you, they're like a shotgun.
Right, and they get big salaries.
They're shooting pellets all over the wall, instead of saying, you know, there's what we want. We want that business. You know, so, you know, it's like they're spraying pellets all over the place trying to hit the thing. You know, I agree with you.
They don't have to, you can't just go to Harrisburg or go to Philly or Pittsburgh and look for a job. You have to go out west somewhere and try to attract work in the area. You know that?
Did we not discuss getting an organizational theme together with all the different organizations so they're not like a shotgun? And maybe they could have a meeting and that representative could sit
But see,
on the
Ronnie
top.
brings up a good point. Whose turf are you going to step on?
Everybody's all at the same time, and then nobody can
It's hard for people to give up power and,
And that money.
But it has to happen, because if
Sure
you
it does.
can't get that to happen, we are going to stay stagnant.
It's going to be stagnant. You told me one industry came in. I can tell you a whole bunch went out the door. Like Zerns, for instance, there's only 35 people.
well, the question you got to ask is, try this one out.
Okay.
Next time you go to a restaurant or any place, okay, ask them why they don't move to your side of town.
I can tell you.
You can, no, I mean, you can be an ambassador just like anybody else.
Right.
My parish priest did that. He walked up to a friend of his who was a real estate agent for a food chain,
Yeah.
one of those controlling companies, and asked him the question. Well, the guy at least come on, look. That's what we need to do. See, we need to say, if we want something, we need to call them on the phone and say, hey, why don't you come here? I call Joe's Crab Shack all the time.
I don't like that.
I mean, maybe you don't like, but I
a lot
just,
of people do.
if this is the case, then what do we do to get started?
When
How
I
do
go
we
see
get
a
these-
movie, I ask them, how come you're not updating
There
this?
should be a show downtown, attract people and put more restaurants, and that's what they got to draw is a crowd with theaters and stuff. Everybody's going up to the mall that one shot, you know. They got all the
What
restaurants.
do you mean? Well, they don't have all the restaurants. Let me tell you this, Ron.
Majority of them.
Let me tell you this. You know what we did wrong? And I agree with what Mr. Buchna is doing, not Buki, Buchna. Okay? Recently come to council, and they're starting to brand certain parts of the downtown. This is what they do in other cities. Okay? And what that means is, you know, we always keep saying, oh, geez, we don't have this. We don't have, I don't care about Applebee's downtown. I would like it, but I don't care.
Yeah.
We had a top-class French restaurant. We had the Puffer Belly. We had various other restaurants, all independent, 1201. We need to market them in that way, you know. We may not have the chains, but we had some of the finest independent restaurants. Now we got Voodoo Beer, but we had, you know, the Under the
Yeah,
Clock.
how's that place big on? You been in there yet?
No, I haven't, but Under the Clock was there. Okay, what we need to do is say, we need to brand, you know, when I went to Lancaster, I was amazed. They told us, don't look for a McDonald's or a Burger King, because the only thing here is a Subway. They don't want it. You know what they had? Independent restaurants all over the downtown area.
That's what they did down in Florida. One
And
little
guess what?
community on the beach, and there was no one allowed to come in. It was all privately owned.
Well, you don't say they can't come in, but you know what?
You don't want them in there.
You encourage, you know, the people that are down here that have these, like Plymouth Tavern or Molly Brannigan's, I've eaten there. Okay, I don't want to let anybody out, but...
We're talking about it. What do we do? We're just talking about it. And it not just us. in
Well, the
particular, but
downtown
like-
district is trying some things, okay?
Yeah.
And, you know, I give it to their credit that they're trying to reinvent the downtown as they see it.
What
okay?
can we do as citizens? Because I'm the kind of person that maybe I don't come up with my own ideas, but if somebody tells me what to do, I will go do it.
Well, you need to, when like they had a survey, you know, you need to contact the DID and tell them, you know, what your feelings are. You know, have your friends call and say, hey, you know, we'd like something like this.
Yeah.
And then you got to do your best to get investors, you know, because there are places they could probably put them. But we all need to be ambassadors, you know. Now, they come to the city when they need something, you know,
Yeah.
which is okay, but, you know, at least there's a group there that are made up, and the DID is made up of downtown merchants,
Yeah.
all paying an extra tax.
So that would be the first.
So what they're doing is they're being assessed by us at their request. We take the money and we turn it over to the DID, which runs their, if you've seen these little street cleaners going around and all that,
Yeah.
that's how they get the money. They're paying for it. You know, they're reinvesting with signage and things like that.
Well, no, that's
They're
all-
working
that's all
50-50
good.
with the city with
Like before,
lighting.
We had this Erie Sports Store right over here. Now it's gone. It's a daycare. Now, when you look up down the streets, all you see is daycares.
Well, Ron, you know, the thing you can't force is you can't force people to stay in business, okay?
Well, I know, but you get
And-
them a little.
And sometimes we're our own worst enemy, okay? When I was a kid, everybody came downtown.
Well, I know they did.
It was the center of the universe, right? Now we go up to Peach Street, pretty much, not even Harbor Creek more, but Peach Street, and you know, why would I come downtown to go to Erie Sports Store when they had one up there?
So my question is still kind of along the same lines. What do we do? You said we've got the DID. So is the DID going out and trying to bring businesses in, or are they being like a
Well,
shop?
they do market a little bit, yes.
So, I mean, do we need to include more groups?
I think
into
what I'm going to
that?
do, and I keep saying this, and I've asked Mr., every time I see him, I'm going to try to get Mr. Buchna to insist that he comes on there, you know.
Yeah, I'd like to see what he has to say.
And he's willing to. We just can't seem to hook up a right time.
Is that guy you said that they hired him to see what's going on in the city?
Oh, that's Buki. John Buchna.
Alice.
You know-
John Buchna, you've seen him around time. Every time there's a grand opening, he's out there in the public eye, but he's
Talk to him, find out when it's good for him, and we'll record him. You and him just sitting down having a conversation.
well, we've had him on the show.
Well, if he can't hook up with them, I'll tape it and then we'll play it back, so at least people can get an idea. You can ask the questions that the people are.
And I think if you talk to him, there's plans on downtown that continue to get upgraded and changed.
Yeah.
There are visions they have, okay? For instance, he's working closely with what you don't like, the EMTA, to try to put a grocery store in their building, because they're going to have a retail component empty. And people tell him, we want a grocery store. Well, if you think about it, you got the Lovell building not too far away,
Yeah.
and you got tenants in there, right?
Oh, yeah, you rented that whole place out. You did a beautiful job on that.
But see, now having said that, what we got to do, and this is what I try to do, if there's a place in the city, I try to do business there.
Yep.
Because, just because, and it goes even into change. Just because you got a McDonald's in Erie and you start buying your food out in Mill Creek, don't be surprised if the one in Erie goes away. We all got to kind of support local businesses, but we also, business. I always learned this: business will come where business is. Businessman, you can't. You can beg him, but at the end of the day, he has to. With sadness, I looked the other day at the Burton Plaza, and I seen a young man's business not there anymore. He tried.
Yeah, that
Deli.
yeah.
It's things like that bother me because, although, it's a small thing, it's still,
You gave her a shot.
yeah. And this is why,
Look at Grandview. Now, Sears is going out of business. They have a few stores open, but Kmart's part of it. And at Kmart, there's nobody going there. And
I get discouraged when I see grocery store after grocery store going into Mill Creek,
Look at Mill out here in Hartford.
but we still got that empty Grandview.
I have a friend who is part of the organization Civitas, and they have organized a Green Friday. I'm not sure if they still do it, but it's buying local instead of being just Black Friday and rushing out to Walmart. Go to a local store, go to a local gift shop, and buy something local. Support local business.
They've tried that, actually, a little
And
bit.
people should, as much as you can, get something local. Buy a gift, buy food, do what you can. Go to the vegetable stand over here and get some squash. Buy something local.
Yeah, Mike will love you.
Everybody has to try to pitch in and do that, or else the business all goes. The money doesn't stay in the city. If you buy something at Walmart, the money doesn't stay in
And
the
I'm
city.
not saying don't shop in Mill Creek.
No, I'm not saying don't shop there,
We
but
have to start trying to get some. There was a time and place when the city did get all the newest things.
yeah.
Oh, I know. We were kids, everything. What's
We
going
need
on
some
at the
phone.
airport?
We need some phone calls.
You in the airport authority?
How about that? Yes, I'll answer your question. Go ahead, caller.
Afternoon, gentlemen.
Hello.
Hello.
I've been into that new restaurant, Southgate, up on Grandview,
Right.
about a dozen times. You go in there, and there's one or two people in there. That's it. They got a beautiful breakfast.
I live up there.
You do?
I've seen a lot of traffic in the last couple of weeks, a lot of people, a lot of cars out there on a Saturday, Sunday.
Try breakfast sometimes. You can get a good breakfast for $6-7.
We'll try it out.
Yeah.
That's bacon, eggs, home fries, and you get a small dish of fruit.
I have to profess, I used to go to, I still go to the breakfast place, and on occasion, our group would meet in different locations, and we went to the old Grandview place a couple times, So these are things I'm talking, just being in the area, even though that's in Mill Creek, it's still, it's for the area.
It's in the neighborhood.
I asked the owner, I says, no, I haven't seen one advertisement for your place. He says, well, we're working on it. Well, I said, that's why you don't have anybody in here.
They got Salisbury pizza in there, too.
The sign I don't think is very big, but
He's got to promote it out front.
yeah, they need to. It would help like if you had more traffic in the Grandview Plaza too.
I'm not too happy on another subject.
What's that?
Not too happy with the curb cut they did on East Avenue.
Oh, really? Which one? All of them or just a couple?
All of them. They paved the street beautiful.
Yeah.
Put the curb cuts in, then they cut out part of the street, out about, maybe 3 foot on every ramp. And they filled it back in again with blacktop, even with the ramp.
Yeah.
They didn't use finished blacktop. They used the big pebble stones. And they never sealed them yet either.
I wonder if they're going to finish them off or not.
Oh, they're level. They're level with the street. Flush with the street. I think it's a lousy job myself. That's just my opinion. I don't know if that...
No, you're entitled to it, but...
Yeah, we should get over there and get a close-up.
Well, I looked at them the other day. They're still not done yet.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know what about this outfit. Some corners have the grass planted, some don't. I don't even think they have it done all at one time.
Well, I went by there, I think, yesterday, and they looked like Saturday, or it might have been Saturday on my way to church. They had I seen a lot of that spray grass on them.
Right. But then some corners don't have it.
I wonder if they're either not done or that was a different company.
I have no idea.
I know when Marion had the barbershop, we had to get his sprayed because the company forgot it. And they tried to get out of it, and I said, no, I had a contract. That's when I was controller. So I got the contractor. You're supposed to plant grass.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
keep an eye on it. If they don't plant grass, we'll raise an issue in the spring for sure.
corner where I live by, it's planted, but it's not. As of yesterday, they weren't sealed yet, where they dug up out into the street.
I was amazed how in some places they had to dig up half the sidewalk too.
They're not. It's ridiculous.
Well, what it is it's the condition of the sidewalk and the angle that they need to put in there. It's caused a lot of problems. We have to hire a gentleman, an expert, just to make sure that they're being done properly. He's an expert in federal. This was all brought on, and we had no choice, but we don't want to keep doing them again. So
next time you're up there, we drive by real slow and look what a crappy looking finish they have on it.
I have to
Every
get
one of them all the way up the street.
When I go down there to see my favorite beer distributor, I have to get out there and take a look.
Okay, have a good day, guys.
You
too.
Yeah, so who has the final word on that? Who could we ask if it's finished or not?
They have a federal inspector, don't they?
The city engineer will probably be told it's done.
Okay. So
I don't know if
we
that's what it's going to look like, or...
Do we know what the standards are? Like what counts as being done?
I have to ask them what they, I don't know what they put on. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, guys, Doc.
Yeah.
I left you a message the other day.
Yeah, I've been out of town, so I'll get back to you real quick.
All right, give me a call, please.
Okay.
Okay, the airport. What's going on with the airport to nowhere? What's going on? I see the young guy just took a sabbatical.
For personal reasons, yes.
Yeah. Then you come.
I am not the liaison. I'm on the committee though, so I do go to some of the meetings. I missed the last one, but I would. This new guy they got is from Lehigh Valley,
Right.
And some other airports. He recently announced that they're going to probably return at least the one flight they eliminated, which is one in and one out from Philly.
One of these Pittsburgh, he's got them putting an addition on it, and they're going to shut most of it down again.
Well, the problem is...
Pittsburgh was the best airport around.
Now, what does that tell you? Okay, before you jump on Erie, what does that tell you? Right? You go to Cleveland, when they lost Continental, they had to close part of that off, okay? Yeah. Now they're scrambling to find low-cost carriers like Spirit or,
Like JetBlue.
Air Alaska or those companies that are, the new ones. The first problem they told us when I was at an airport meeting was there was a lack of equipment. Okay, they didn't have enough aircraft.
Well, they can't. It took me 2.5 hours to wait for a plane. Supposed to have been here 5 o'clock, then get there about
Well,
8 o'clock.
Either because they cannibalized a lot of them or whatever, there was a lack of equipment. So when they have less equipment, it's like the law of supply and demand, they're going to service where they make the most money, and that ain't Erie.
No.
Okay? Now the next problem was, even they started to ease up on the airplanes a little bit, but now there's a shortage of pilots, which is backed up on various national news agencies.
Right.
The military's not turning out as many, so they're not, getting their pick of them. It's expensive to become a pilot. The best course they used to take was, like I said, the military. They were well trained, they had the hours. So now there's a lack of pilots, experienced pilots. You put that all in the hopper, and they're going to go where they can make the most money. The thing we do have in Erie is that now we don't have an excuse. Okay, we can have the jets. We can land the big planes.
Well, they put that hopper dump, cover that up. But the planes don't like coming in, going against the wind, going west, because of the headwind. Now, coming from west, going east, they go with the wind. And that's our biggest problem.
Well, so we don't have a crosswind runway either.
Right.
And that's because we don't have the land.
We're out of time, but with that, I just wanted to say my grandfather used to always tell me that he was a pilot. He worked in a barn and he used to pilot every day.
Oh,
And with that, we are out of time.
boy, was that a bad
That was pretty bad, but that was my grandfather. That's how he...
But no, that's it in a nutshell, Ron.
That's it. We're out of time.
But like I said, that hopper dump, how many millions of dollars for that extension? Huh?
Well, the thing is, Ron, if we didn't have the extension,
No, they did put the extension.
no, if we didn't have it, they wouldn't even allow the little jets to fly in there.
Stealing Ron's mic.
Knowing that the only difference between LaGuardia, Midway, and Erie was, one was in Chicago, one was in New York, and one was in Erie. So which one do you think they were going to bother with?
Pittsburgh, that's a
Our runway was as long as Midway, yet we were under orders to expand ours.
it's all screwed up.
You going?
We're out.
I've got to go see my great-granddaughter.
So on behalf of Clack 2, or whatever his name is, we'll see you next week.
I'm surprised the cops can pull you over.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.